Hey everyone, Bancroft here from Attack on Productions. We've got another deck profile coming your way. This time it's another one of Aaron's. It's actually an update to his Surge Piccolo deck that we did a while back ago. He's made some new changes to it after the new stuff from Draftbox 5, so look forward to that. Like always, if you like our content, hit the like, subscribe button. If you have any questions, concerns for the deck, or anything for us, put it in the comments down below. And if there's anything you guys want to see us make, also put it down in the comments down below, because we will pretty much make any deck profile. Alright, Aaron, it's enough of me. Please take it away.
Hey guys, this is Aaron. I am doing another deck profile for the channel. So this is a new version of my of the deck that I took to our shop championship and I got second place with. This is a much better version of this deck. This has got all the new Draftbox 5 stuff in it. This is not, I don't think this, I would say this is a final product, but this is pretty close. I've had a lot of success with this. So I play the Piccolo Surge Leader. Leader's really good. Scry for one on the front, draw, and then you draw for turn, so he draws 2 cards a turn. And then on the back side, you can pitch a green and a blue, or you can pitch a card from underneath them that happens to be green or blue. And you can make your opponent warp 2 cards from their hand, or you can ramp 1 multicolor from your drop. So I won't go too much into him. People understand him pretty well. So first and foremost, this is a blue-green. I cut the yellow from the deck that I was running originally because you just don't need it. It's just pointless at this stage of the game. So we'll go through first and foremost just some of the utility stuff that is in here because the deck is just what it is. And so first we'll go through some of the staples. So we run 4-dimension magic. I still think it's probably the best negate in the game nowadays, especially with Arrival being as big as it is, and then extra cards that are in this deck that require energy. This is really good, a negate for the game right now. I also run 3 Cells Earth Destroying Kamehameha. I cut this from 4. You do not need the discard as much as you used to because of some stuff that's in here now. But this card is still insane. So plus 15k and all of your energy is green. Then you get to choose a card from your opponent's hand at random and make them discard it. Really good because it's on offense and defense. So card is insane. And then I run 3 hidden potentials. Best counterplay in the game, hands down. It takes anything with a cost 4 or less and just says goodbye. It's not played, so there's no effects resolve, and then you get to untap an energy, a green energy or a blue energy at the after this is played. So it's a 1 cost 4-drop counterplay with no power restrictions. And then we're playing blue, so we run 4 Sensu Bean. Don't need to explain that one at all. And then we'll get into some of the stuff that's kind of toolboxy. And so probably the best toolbox in the game or in this deck is Artificial Impact. This card just says choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and then KO it. Then you get to choose a card in your opponent's hand and discard it. So really, really good. I mean, it's the main removal in the deck. You have to play it too, and this deck is charge pass, so cost 3 is nothing. We run 3 of the blue-green check land. I don't run 4. You don't need it. There's not nearly as much blue in this deck as there used to be. And so charging green is fine. But this is still really important. So it gets played in most games. So I use it. And then we'll get into some of the win cons of the deck. So first is the Gogeta Engine. I run a slightly different variant. So I run 2-2-2. It's plenty. This deck draws 1,000 cards. You don't need any more than this to see these things. Plus, this isn't the main win condition of the deck. It's the easiest win condition because of the leader's ability to warp 2. So you basically put them at 0 cards and win with a triple strike. Albeit really good. It's not the main win con in the deck. Doesn't have to be anymore. This is the newest edition, so this Goku Evening the Odds is really good. So basically what this card does is you can pay a green if you don't have any battle cards and discard it from your hand and KO an opponent's battle card. It's insane. And it's also 15k and it fits in really well. Vegeta the Cruel, has been a staple since it came out. Pop a card, warp a card when it comes out. And then we really don't need to explain this guy, do we? Then we go into, so I do have a small Self-Awakening engine in here. I have for the control matchup, and then for the, this is kind of just a crit. But this is because, like, the Gohan is fine because it gives you crit, but it goes into rest, and then on your opponent's turn they just get rid of it. And so I use the Pan because it bounces back, and so if they waste a counterplay on this, then that's awesome. If they don't, then I get to awaken. I get to take a life every turn, which this deck is susceptible to being stalled out because all of its abilities trigger at 3 life. And so you really don't want to get stalled out, and so this card is really pivotal. But I like the 2-2 split because of just ratios. So, but you need them. You have to be able to self-awaken with this. Super combos. I run one of the Dr. Giro, Progenitor of Terror. So he takes a 4-drop or less from your deck and puts it into your drop area, which is huge with this new deck. I run it on 1-of because I really don't need to see it that often. I do run 3 of the Android 18, so she is crazy. Basically, you play this, your opponent has to bottom deck a card, which is actually more effective than putting something in the drop because it doesn't fuel Overrealm and some other abilities. So this card is really, really good. So that's super combos for the deck. I don't really feel like you need a super combos at draw because the leader draws so many cards. So then we'll go into the new engine. So this is the Maidens engine. So this is new to the deck. Before Draft Box 5, the Maiden stuff just wasn't good enough to be a permanent fixture with this leader, but now it is. So I run 2 Maiden transformations and I run 2 Universe 2 assembles. So this card is from the original Tournament of Power Booster. This just says choose 2 Maidens and play them from your drop area. Cost 4 or less. Card is insane. This says draw a card and go get a Maiden. It costs 4 or less and put it in your drop area. So these 2 cards are synonymous with one another. The ratios in this deck is so like card heavy. There's so many cards you want to use with this, and so I can't figure out a way to get more of these in it. They're both really good, but 2 and 2 has worked pretty well so far. So some of the targets for that. So we have Rabrana, Maiden Devotee. So this card, when this comes into play, your opponent has to discard 2 cards. So if you Maiden Transformation that, and you bring these 2 cards in, they have to discard 4 cards, which is a crazy amount of cards. And so if you're getting stalled out by a control deck, a U7 for instance, you make them discard 4 cards, they're going to be hurting, along with the leader making it 6, and then you super combo a couple times. You can make them discard 8 cards in 1 turn, or if you've got a couple of the other cards in here that'll make them discard 2 cards, then you can, 10 is the most I've made someone discard in a turn, and that's basically game ending. So this card's really good. Something else interesting that this card does that I'm playing around with is that when it's removed from play, it goes and gets a 3-drop. And I think that main 3-drop is supposed to be the Jimenez or whatever it's called. I don't run that card in here because it clogs too much, and that's what the Gogeta Engine takes place of, is a full Maiden package. I don't think the full Maiden package is good enough. I think Gogeta is a really solid answer with this leader. So there's 2 of the targets for those Universe 2 assembles in the main transformation. The other one is this Ribrianne Boundless Heart. So this card's really good. This card basically is just, KOs anything when it comes into play. So you pick any of your opponent's cards and you KO it, and it's a 20k beater, and you can play 2 of them. So if they have 2 big beaters on board that you're trying to get rid of, then they're both gone. It's really good. I really like this card a lot, actually. And then the next one is Kakunza. So this card is actually really good. I saw this when it first came out, and I wasn't totally sold on it. But it's very good. Being able to counter an attack and then KO something is really strong, especially since it also is a 4-cost Maiden. And so those are the 6 that or the 3 targets. I run 2 of them a piece. Is the Rabrana, the Ribrianne, and the Kakunza. There's a few other targets. There's a rare 4-drop from the draft box, Ribrianne, before she transforms, that you can discard and negate an attack. It's pointless, but I can see if you really run a full Maiden package with the big 7-drop Ribrianne or the 5-drop from Tournament of Power, I can see running that, but we don't run any of those. So those are the 3 main 4-drop Maidens for this package. I run 2 of probably the best card in the deck now. I will run a 3rd one of this, and I will cut this Zerloin for it. So this will eventually be 3 of this Ribrianne. The Zerloin's pretty good, but it's basically in here because I don't have a third one of this. This card just says pay 2 green and discard, make your opponent discard 2 cards. So really good. They balance this card, unlike the Ape from the first draft box. This is 2 green, and your leader has to be green. The Ape is ridiculously unbalanced because it's just 2 vanilla, and I don't think you have to have a leader. You may have to, but I don't think you do. So Zerloin, when you play him, you can take a 4-drop from your hand and you can play it. So he can still play the Ribrana or the Ribrianne and pop a card or make them discard 2 cards. And then you can KO this card when one of your opponent's battle cards attacks, and then then your opponent can't attack. And then when he's KO'd, he can go fetch a green battle card with a cost of 4 or less. I've toyed with putting the Piccolo assimilated ability in here with this, and playing the assimilated ability, and then going and fetching another one when he dies. So you have 2, and I'm still kind of figuring that out. I think it could be good, but this has been really good up to this point. Again, this is going to become a 3rd Ribrianne when we get one. And then probably the best card in the deck. This card is absurd. So the fact that this card is only $3 shows me just how slept on this card is. When you swing with this card, you KO all of your, or when you play this card, if your leader card is green, then if it's in rest mode, your opponent can't attack you. And then when you play it, they take all their battle cards and ignoring barrier, and they KO them. And then when this card is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, you can choose a green battle card with energy cost of 4 from your drop area, and you can play it with its skills negated. This card is absurd because it also has triple strike. Insane card. I think it's a must at least 3. And then this secret rare. So I'm probably going to take this one out and replace it with the Zeno Cell because of Maiden Transformation and Kakunza being a 2-drop. You see a lot of 4-drops, and so if you can get them to 5, or if you can get to 5 energy, which is extremely easy because you can ramp it with this leader, you just Maiden Transformation, make them discard their whole hand, and then you play Zeno Cell with 5 energy. You make them discard the rest of their cards, and then you quad strike them, and they lose. So, but this card's still pretty good. I just wish that it was the Cell Zeno. I don't currently have one, but that's the deck. It's really good. I've had pretty good success with it. Still tinkering with some of the ratios, but right now this is what it is. So let me know what you think.